I'm just going to say hi, Mama D. Oh, Portugal. Amazing. Well, we're going to have a little bit of fun today. Now, if you saw the picture, it's not actually completely in camera right now. I've been doing like an overhaul, cleanup of my craft room area, and that worked my way all the way around the corner to my daughter's desk. And she had a painting on there, and it was just kind of something she was just kind of splashing around paint and never really committed to finishing it. And she told me she didn't really like it, so I painted over it, and I painted over it these really fun flowers. I had seen a couple like layering style videos. I'm going to pull it into frame here, like that were creating these flowers, and it's a very layering technique. You have to, this is one of those definitely, you know, how some of the tutorials, it's like a trust the process. You're definitely going to trust the process today. And so you just kind of, we're going to stack and stack and stack. And the first layer of paint is going to be to kind of play with our brushes and figure out what we like and what we don't like. Nothing we lay down first will probably even be seen by the time we get to the top. But we're going to do this with red because I want it to be more of a holiday theme. So I actually have slightly different colors than the pictures that I had on there, because I want it to be more festive. So over here I've got like a bunch of reds. I did swap out to my Deco Art paints. I had some tube paints like this up here before. And I don't have these in my TikTok shop, in my Amazon shop, mainly because it's a lot of paint. Like if you're painting rocks, it will take you a really long time to go through this much paint. I bought this to do kind of canvas art back in the day. So we're throwing those to the side. I kind of swapped out, but I am going with more of a true green. And then I also have the metallic green from Deco Art. And then I also have the metallic red over here. Just has a little bit of shimmer to it that I might work that back in. I've also gotten myself just a regular white. I had the tube white before, but just regular white. And I grabbed a dark blue because if I want a darker shade of green, I don't want to add black to it necessarily. I think I'm going to add just a little blue to bring in a darker tone to it. I also have some gold over here that I maybe will dabble with. I don't know. These are just really kind of a freestyle design, and I'm just going to show you different things and techniques you can do, and no two stones will look alike. And I'm actually going to work my way like across my rocks. So maybe I'll go like this. They almost look like fish like this, don't they? I don't know that I like that because then I'm stepping down and then up. I like this better. Okay, so I'm going to, be taking paint here and just kind of down and around. They're not going to necessarily go back together. This isn't a puzzle. That's not really the complete aim of it. It's just that I want to distribute colors and layers kind of evenly across all of the rocks. So we do have a few people in today. If you're painting along with us, let me know if you can. I know some people have it up on their televisions. That makes it a little harder to comment and type. Thanks for the hearts. I see the hearts. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up if you're in the room now or if you're watching the replay. I really appreciate that. Okay, so first thing we need to do is get some paints out, right? I have two palettes. I use the term loosely. I'm constantly saving jar lids to use as palettes. If you have paint that dries in there, it usually will just kind of crack and pop out. I got some around the edge of the rim there, but it will just kind of like pop out because I don't like to really wash a lot of paint down the sink. So I usually just let it dry and I kind of pop it off, or I just put paint right on top of it sometimes. I want a separate one for the red. For me to pull off the holiday color, I really want to have some true red from time to time. So I'm going to have red in here. I'll probably dabble with some in here as well, but I do want two separate palettes. As far as brushing on paint here, I have a wide variety of things that I have pulled off to the side from lots of different packs over time. Like some of these brushes I think I've even cut. So use what you have. Try to find different varieties because we're going to play with textures and we're really playing with our paint today. You are painting, Tammy. I know you're painting. I can't wait. You're going to enjoy this. If you only have paint pens, you could kind of still do this design You're gonna still have to lay things down in layers and really build up your values and colors. You can blend with paint pens. We've done that before. But again, variety of paint pens, variety of paint brushes over here. I'm gonna kind of see, I got water here as well. Kind of pull that into view slightly. I'm gonna back up my painting. I do not want to accidentally get anything on that. And so I have two different reds here. They're both deco art. This is true red and bright red. I don't really know that there's a really big difference. See, it might just be different. It says slightly different. The Americana, I don't know if that's supposed to be, everything else seems the same. Deco art, crafters acrylic. I'm not really sure the difference. I obviously use both. So I'm just gonna take this one and make sure it sounds good. Sounds good to me. So we got some red. And the thing with acrylic paints is they are water-based paints. So at any time while you're painting, I'm gonna go ahead and get a good amount out. We're gonna use plenty. While you're painting, they might get a little tacky. You can introduce water, but while you're doing these flowers, that tackiness actually can be fun to kind of manipulate and play with. On the other palette here, we are gonna go ahead and get some of our dark green. This one is leaf green, which is perfect because that's what we're going for, right? So I'm gonna get a good amount of that green down. And then I'm also gonna put a little bit of this dark blue in here. To the side, just so we can pull some of that in. I also have this green. Seems like it's kind of low, but that's okay. When you open paints, make sure if you get one of these guys, don't let that get in your paint. Take it to the side. It should pop right off. Same with like in the lid up here. See, this paint's been sitting still for a while. I'm just gonna pick that off before it lands in my paint. Nothing worse than when you're painting and you end up with like a crusty spot of paint. Okay, coming back. All right, so I got some of that shimmery green. I don't know how much of that we're gonna use. We can always get more. You have one red, one green. That's fine. The blue will make your like a dark blue. If you don't have dark blue, you can use like blue and black together. You just don't want to only use black to darken your blue. I think it just, or I'm sorry, black to darken your green. It just will make it kind of like a grayish green instead of just darker. So the blue keeps that like colorful value to it. So if you don't have dark blue, you could use a light blue, a little light blue and a little black, and you're just going to kind of be blending on your pens. The red, I mean, I have a shimmer red. I think it might show up a little pinkish, so I'm probably not going to use a lot of it. And I don't know if it's even going to change the color of my red at all. So I have 3 reds, but 2 of them are exactly the same. These 2 are the same red. And then this one, technically, I think it's just a slightly different style of paint. So it's the same color. So 1 red's fine. All right, and then I am going to put down a little white. I don't know that I'm going to have a white showing at the beginning. I might come in and add like some little, see, I got that on here too. A couple little like dots and dabs of white at the end, possibly. We might play around with the idea that, look, I just smear that right on there. But this is, I mean, if you follow my channel, some are more trust the process than others. This is going to look messy and sloppy at first, but the first thing we really have to do is cover the surface of the rocks, and we're just going to kind of block out our coloring a little bit. And don't worry, it's going to absorb into the rock a little bit. So I'm going to start with my green and my blue here, and I'm just going to kind of mix it right on my brush. And you guys really just got to trust just let yourself kind of come up with these ideas. We're just going to pull in that blue a little bit. This one's a little bit darker. I don't want it to turn too teal on me. I might have to actually get a little bit of darker. There we go. That's getting darker now. All that blue in there. So again, if you don't have a dark blue, I got to watch out not to pull my white. If you don't have a dark blue, you can use a little bit of regular blue and a little bit of black. Okay, and then we are literally going to create a path across all of these rocks, okay? So we're just gonna kind of start up here and splish splosh your way. I just touched that, don't even worry about it. All the way across your rock to the other side, okay? And do the same thing along the bottom here. We'll hit these ones. Flip your brush, smash your brush, whatever you want to do to create these little areas of color. Okay, I'm gonna swoop over there and get a little bit more. I've got a little bit more of that darker color left over there. Kind of look, where do I want to kind of place it down? A couple areas. And kind of let your brush kind of flip and roll. We're gonna leave behind the dark green. So now when we come back with our regular green, we're gonna pull that in sometimes and we're gonna just kind of layer it on here. I know this is a totally different process than things that we do. We are gonna do these flowers. Maybe I should leave the corner in because you're right, people are gonna show up. We're doing like a stacked flower. We're gonna do red flowers. My example back here, before my hands get, I wonder if I can get this corner. I'm turning it the long way so that maybe I can sneak it in a little bit at the top here. Move my red over. I just don't want to accidentally paint on it. Let's see if that's going to show. There, oh, sort of. I'll bring it a little further. There we go. So we're doing kind of these stacked flowers, but we're going to do them with red paint for the holidays. So maybe I'll pull this towards me just a smidge. There we go. So we just went from the dark and now we're going into our light, and you're going to just kind of nudge right up next to it. The goal right now is we have to cover the surface of these rocks. Now I am leaving strategically a place for red on these rocks as well. The red can go on top of the green, but I do want it kind of solid in a few places. So I'm just kind of rolling this lighter green around here. Blah, blah, blah. Just kind of let your brush do some weird stuff. This is a really fun, playful way to paint. It's totally different than anything I probably have done on the channel, but we're finishing up the year with something different and fun, and it will still be a little holiday when it's all said and done. All right, I'm gonna let these kind of settle for a moment because I want to come in with some red before our rocks are solid. I'm just leaving my brush right here with my palette, maybe flip to the other side, but I'm not gonna worry about putting it in water or anything like that. This is just the next biggest brush that I have at my hand here. And we're going to kind of do the same thing with the red. I'm going to start by placing it very specifically in the center areas where I know I'm not going to pick up green first, okay? So we're just going to load that up on the brush, and we're just going to kind of come in and just kind of, boom, try not to pick up any of that right away. It's going to get in your brush, but you want to try to get some of this red down solid. And it's funny because you can see the darkness of the rock pulling through. That's not paint, don't worry. Just kind of fill these spaces. Don't worry about, we're not trying to make flowers right now, okay? This is not making flowers. This is just getting some paint down on our rocks. We're just making placement. Just making some space. We'll probably come back in and even make this a darker red. Because I'm going to have to go on top over here, but I don't want to pull that green in yet. We're going to put them on top, but let's just get some of this red down without any green in it. We'll decide which way these flowers are going later. We're going to come in and we're going to make some more kind of greenish foliage. That word always messes with me. Foliage. And I know it looks messy, you guys. I promise this guy up here looked really ridiculous for a long time too. Just get some paint down. Now this is the first time I've tried to do this on rocks. So we are going to play around with drying and things like that. You know, the way that a canvas absorbs paint might be slightly different, or slightly is different than the way that like the rock is going to. But I'm seeing some of the paint drying already, so I think we're going to be just fine, because we want to work a little bit with wet paint because we're going to get different like values within our colors. So I'm just filling these spaces that I see. All right. See, I know I need more red on this one. Let's give this a good red over here. This could be like a little row of flowers maybe is going to happen on that one. This one might have a little cluster on this side over here. All right, I think that's almost all. Almost. Let's see if I can get some up here. All right. All right, once you've kind of got all the spots you can get to without paint, then just don't worry about it too much. I am going to pull from slightly to the side. I want to keep an area of my paint that I know is red over here. So this side's going to start getting some green in it, and that's okay because it's going to create kind of a different value. And so it's all okay to let that in because it's going to create this deeper, darker red, and we actually do want that. So we're going to go over our spaces. You can spread them a little bit and just kind of dab that on there. And you'll see already they start to kind of create these different textures and shapes. So we're just, the goal is to cover all of our rock eventually. So anywhere you feel. Now these are not going to be the very top layer either, so don't, I'm going to tell you this 1,000 times in this tutorial. We are not overthinking. Just let that paintbrush smush, play around. Overthinking is something I struggle with in my daily life. So sometimes when you're doing art, letting yourself just, and I'm doing it live with the pressures of it looking good. Somebody else can see mine. So don't worry about what it looks like at home. I promise. We're going to get to a pretty result here. Okay. See how we have this beautiful like undertone value happening? See, the point though is if you didn't have the red on there first, you're just, it's going to turn too green on you. You want to be constantly adding that bright red because we're going to go on top of these with our bright red again. You can even use the side of your brush in here. Maybe you can get into that green a little bit. The goal eventually is your overhead look. You can't see any stone. So if you have to kind of get up from your seat or move it in your hand so that you can see your overhead shot. Just kind of dabbing around. Use the corners of your brush, the flats of your brush. You can even do those little playful dabs. So here's the thing. Now we're going to have all these different brushes. And the thing is, nothing that's showing now has to be showing at the end of this rock. That's the coolest part about painting with acrylic paints to me. You guys see that I use paint pens a lot, and I do. I really do enjoy paint pens. Maybe this technically, I don't even know if this is considered rock painting 101, but I really thought it would be a fun project today. So we're doing it anyways. But, you know, you'll see we're going to have a big mess. It's a little bit more of a process, but man, you can do some really fun stuff when you really start playing with acrylic paint. Because since it's water-based, like you can come back and manipulate it as it's drying. And then once it's dry, though, if you don't like a section, you're just going to go right over the top of it. Like right here, we just need like a little. And you are going to want some areas of green, but we're going to come back with another brush and do some more with our green here once we get this kind of happy with our darker undertones of red here. Because the goal here is to not have, like the bright red's going to go on top. We're going to make the bright be nice and bright again. And that's how we're going to actually get the flowers we're looking for. I'm just kind of, I'm not brushing at all. If you're seeing, it's more of kind of dabbing the paint around. I don't really, at the end when this is all said and done, I don't really want any solid portions of paint, I guess is the goal here. Now, if you've got a couple areas, like I think that's enough red on this one, and I do see some overhead spots that I want, I can come back and hit that with the green. Okay. How are we doing? I know this is so different. So different. You paint your flowers. This is not the way, like, I mean, I've done a lot of painted flowers in the past, and this isn't like the standard just kind of painting an acrylic flower quite the same way. This one's just going to be a little bit more, just going to have some more fun, a little bit more of a freestyle process art style, I guess. So this is definitely different. We're still going to do, I mean, it's 2:22 and we're already, you know, a good portion of the way, you know, through a few rocks. So it looks like it's a lot, but when we break it down, it's going to be good. All right, so I'm honestly looking at this green, and I almost think that my metallic green is going to possibly be enough to lighten it. I don't think I'm going to need my big brush anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and throw that into the water. I'm going to use, so this is like from a kid's pack of paintbrushes I bought. I think this one I might even have in the Amazon cart. It's Craft Smart brand, so I don't. Never mind. That's Michael's house brand. These brushes are nothing fancy. I did cut them. I think both of them maybe to have almost like a little slant to them. I mean, I might play with like a liner style brush. You can kind of do whatever you think. Yes, Tammy. Yeah, if you're working on one or two rocks, you'll be able to keep up here. So we're just going to take something smaller because I kind of want to create, actually, I'm going to go in with my liner first. I kind of want to create some like lines in here that might become stems and leaves. So I'm actually going to get a little bit of water on my brush first. And then I'm going to kind of roll it in here and load it up with this metallic-y colored paint. And then we are going to, so when I mean loaded up, I mean loaded up. So I'm kind of wiggling here. I guess I've probably not ever shown this, or it's been a while. So when I say load up a paintbrush, you're going to put it in there. You're going to wiggle the bristles like this to kind of get it in there. And I kind of lift it and do it a few times. And then I'll even just kind of give it a quick spin. Like I want a good amount of paint on there. Janet, I have that on the page too. Oh, that's fun. I do those as well. So we're going to pull right through some of the paint. It's going to actually change the color of this, but we're going to do the same thing where I'm just going to kind of pull and create these, you know, lines. And even if I'm not leaving paint, I could be dragging paint. We're just going to kind of do that a few places through. Say I picked up a little bit of that green in there, so that's going to kind of change a little bit of it. And you can kind of give little swirls or whatever you want to do. If you pick up a little red, don't worry about it. I'm getting a little thick. I'm pushing too hard. If you're getting wide, it's because you're letting it lay down too much. You get a lighter touch, slow down. I gotta remind myself of these things too. Slow down. That's why it's nice sometimes for me to do these live, because if I was just recording, I would have just smushed that and been like, and then I would have fixed it in my mind without saying. That one kind of got away from me. It can be coming out. They don't have to have a start and a finish. You can put a flower anywhere later to become the start and finish of these. You can go into your reds a little bit and come from the outer edge. Again, a lot of these first little bits that we're putting down, it doesn't mean they're necessarily going to show at the end. And just creating kind of some layers and some things that will peekaboo out from behind when it's all done. So you just kind of slightly lift it slightly away as you're pulling. Okay. I mean, you could even come in with, you know, toothpicks, whatever you want to do. Now, after these, I'm going to come in and I'm going to do more of a leaf. And that's when I'm going to go to kind of my kind of smaller brush here. Yes, having a heavy hand is like sometimes you have to almost like constantly remind yourself sometimes when you do that kind of stuff. So for this, I'm going to load this color all the way up in the brush. Again, I'm kind of pushing it into the paint and getting in between all those bristles. Then you might kind of come back and back and forth a few times, but you want to get it loaded up. And then I'm going to actually come and I'm going to tap just on the edge there, just get a little bit of that green. And then I'm going to kind of create some leaves. And I wish I can't really pick this up. I was trying to keep all of them in frame. I'm not sure if it's better to do that or to zoom in. I think I can probably zoom in maybe later. So, okay, so I'm just going to come along this and I'm just going to, you figure out which way dab's better for you. I should have dabbed this way maybe. Dab. The green would be this way. So we're just going to kind of dab along here. Dab and pull maybe. Don't be scared if it's not what you like. You can put something on top of it later. Just play around with the different brushes you have until you're kind of creating some textures and lines that you like. Don't over complicate it. Work with the same paint in your brush. You can turn your brush different ways to create different shapes. The only time I'm going to get more paint is if I accidentally load up too much with red. See, even on top of the red, you can kind of get it to lay. And then you end up with all these fun different values of paint. So this is going to help with the heavy hand if you can kind of play around with designs like this. We're just going to, now if you don't have like a metallic, I would say, you know, you could add just like a little hint of a lighter shade of green, or even like maybe some people that don't have all the colored metallics, you might have a little bit of gold. You could do a little bit of gold in with it. It's just enough to kind of give it different hues. And I think that I like the metallic a little bit just because it gives me that little bit of a holiday vibe. So I'm just going to kind of follow along these little stems that I put down. And again, I'm not trying to overthink it. I'm placing, just kind of tapping and pulling slightly, kind of flicking. Away from the stem. Even if it kind of changes, I got a little bit of red there. And you can always come back and do another layer later. Like if, so this is hitting a lot of red right now. It just, again, I'm trying to break up anywhere that it looks like it's plain green. I don't want anywhere when these rocks are done that you look and you see it look like it's just like a solid color. And you can even just come off to the side and create some little spaces. Might get covered up later with flowers. I have white on here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, if I'm going to do anything with that yet, or what. Okay. We're actually starting to see some things that look like more than just blobs of paint. I'm liking it. Okay, so we're going to go here. I'm kind of going on the stem and just kind of lifting up as I pull away. And I don't even care that I'm pulling a little bit of that red right there. And same going the other direction, just kind of tapping on the stem and pulling down and away. There's going to be things along here, so I'm not super worried that all of them look perfect. It's like this one's just going to be the chunky thing at the top that I'm not going to love. We'll fix it. We'll just put a big old flower right on top of it later. Oh, but see, I like those leaves. Those leaves look pretty. Let's just kind of... Where it looks too dark, add a little bit of lightness. See how many times I just brushed and nothing came off because I'm literally wisping that lightly at the top. I'm trying to barely add these leaves here. Keep them nice and small because this is kind of a smaller rock. So I'd like to be able to see some of these leaves, but I don't want them to become like a ridiculously large. Let's see what's at the top here. Oops. Yeah, that one got a little smushy. That's all right. I feel like I need to get more green. This has gotten really, I do want that metallic on there, but I need a little bit of green. There we go. I like that better. Just going to cover this one completely. I didn't even work with the stem on that one. See, so if your brush is doing something different, do something different. Just going to pull those away. I'm not doing a specific botanical flower here. We're not like doing specifically like poinsettias or anything like that. So we're just working on getting them on there. And once you've got like a good portion where you can kind of see your green action kind of moving across the rocks, you can come back in with another brush, or we can work a different shape maybe. I think I do want to go in some of these areas where it's still darker, and we're going to come back in on our green side. I'm just going to use kind of like one of these round tip brushes. It's number 4 round brush, if you want to be specific. And I'm going to load up the darker green that we had here. Get all the way under that rim. And again, see, I'm kind of pushing down to get it in between, and then you're going to be soft to kind of clean it up. And now anywhere I'm seeing solid green still, I'm just going to kind of create like a dab, dab, dab. I just don't want any solid green colors anywhere. Again, so you can dab over here, dab over there. Just kind of doop, noop, 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 noop. Okay. And if they look too much similar, go back in and get some of the dark. It's funny because I'm trying to sit down, so I'm under the camera, but then I can't really see. So then I'm standing up. So if my voice is changing a lot today, I apologize for that. That would be why, because I'm literally hovering and then sitting. And now I'm like right by the thing, so I'm probably like yelling at you. Sorry. You can also use the darker green to kind of tame down any areas where you thought you got a little crazy with the dark or with that lighter shade. Like a lot of the green's not going to really matter. We just, again, I'm repeating myself, but just don't want any plain Jane green spots here. We'll come back in with green probably one more time at the end just to do some final like defining leaves. But we're pretty good here. I do not want any rock left over though. If there's any rock exposed at this point in time, we want to make sure it's covered, because at this point we want to be doing top layers or working on layers that we like. That's what I call it. It's funny, my daughter and I, after she saw how I finished this painting, we did a painting together, and I was like, you just cannot judge it while it's just getting started. Can you hold on? Yes, let's see here. I'm gonna bring this one because the edges on it don't look too bad. So I'm just kind of doing some pressings. See how you can kind of just press and get individual leaves. This I kind of just went along that. And you can only see like some of the vines, like this one you can see, and the one at the top, you can't see the line anymore. Just really be open with what happens with your brush. Play around with just different brush tips and things like that. Okay. So they all have a slightly different vibe to them right now, which I am loving. All right, so as you can see, like the rock, this is what I'm going to be kind of trying to figure out and deal with a little bit, is the rock itself, like, really sucks up that paint. You're welcome, Tammy, no problem. It really sucks up that paint, and so it really leaves this really dark. Now, of course, we did get some green in there with it to make the red a little darker, but it is going to probably take a good amount of layers, I think, to get this nice bright. I want a bright red. I might even actually come in here and do a layer of white, or more of a pink, not necessarily white. I have my white over here. I think that's what I'm going to come in and do. And if I don't like it, we'll fix it. That's just the way that the lives go. So that's the bonus of you guys being here for this, is you get to watch me figure it all out live. All right, so how am I going to do this? Actually, I wonder if the shimmer will be enough of a lightness. Probably not. I'm going to just swoop white and bringing it over, because I have white in my palette over here. And so I'm just going to kind of swoop that up. We're going to place it right over here. And we're going to see what kind of comes of that. And I don't know that I want to actually mix it all the way in. I think we might want to kind of play with having it like this. And I have no idea what flower shapes I'm going to be working with yet. As you can see back here, I kind of played with different flower shapes. So depending on the way it seems like it wants to go down for you, you can. For now, I just want to kind of distinguish petal placement. I'm not going to overly think about like how it fills in necessarily color-wise. I'm just kind of going to place some flowers down. So just kind of, I do like to leave a space for my center, okay? So I'll do this next one just a little slower, so I can kind of, I'm looking at the splotches left behind, and I'm just going to kind of, the outer edge, when you press down with the paintbrush, it's going to fan out basically as wide of the shape as it is, and then as you pull to the center, you're just going to kind of lift up slightly, and that's how it's going to work. What's he's here. I don't know what you mean. So again, we're gonna just kind of, and you could do two sides for each petal. Like, that's what I meant. Like, don't worry about the final brush strokes. This is not going to be the color of our flowers, but we got to get something lighter underneath here, or it's not going to work. Bye, Janet. Okay, so we're just going to kind of come along here, and we're going to do that. Now, if I've got a fatter brush like this, but I have a smaller spot, I'm just going to turn my brush on its side and do kind of the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of left a center behind there. If you've got a small space, you can just kind of do these 1, 2, 3s. It can be a flower that ends up underneath. If you got some stuff like this, you can kind of play around with just a few little clusters. Maybe these are just these tiny little flowers. I feel like that needs to be darker, and those would be like highlights. So maybe we'll come back and do that on something. Oh, if we're more intentional, like here, we're paying attention, we can kind of do them like as highlights in certain areas. I don't know. We'll kind of play around with that. That's the thing. Again, I've got people that come and go, so I'm repeating myself, but with this design, just get some paint down. Anything you don't like how it lays down, it doesn't have to be there when it's done. Because we're going to come back and really play around with what's left over here. Because even these tiny little spaces, we're going to put some flowers in here. We can come back with our even smaller brush and be very specific. Do a couple of little flips of your brush, just kind of playing around with it. And every brush is going to work different depending on how much paint you have on your brush. So this is a really fun way just explore in that fashion too while painting. So once we get this layer down, I think we'll come back and do another layer of our leaves, some kind of final touches of leaves. Just kind of lob those on there. I like some of these little, part of me wonders if we should have a few little like white dots in here. Like I kind of want to put them down now so most of them will get covered up. Is that funny? It's like sometimes when I'm painting, it's like, oh, I want that to just like peekaboo from underneath. Same with the gold. If we decide to do any gold, we need to add it on very soon because we don't want the gold to be overpowering. So if you're watching live, if you think we should do gold, let me know. Yay gold, nay gold. Do you have gold at home that you could pull out? Let's see here. You could do that too, just these kind of little straight shots. You've got gold. I think I'm going to do gold because I feel like the gold's going to help it pull off that like little bit of holiday. Gold kind of makes it a little more holiday. And right now we're getting very pink, but don't worry, we're going to come back with that red. We're going to go pure, these are going to be red flowers. Even though these look pretty, we're going to do gold. And we're going to do some, maybe some white. Okay, we got one more over here to do. Let's just kind of boom, boom, boom. Big one. Whoop, that one got away from me. It's all right. It's gonna be fine. Gonna be fine. Okay. Here. It's because I started rushing and I'm not in a hurry. Hope none of you guys are. It's the last time I'm gonna go live this year, so I'm just gonna enjoy myself and we're gonna get these painted. They're gonna look great. We're gonna have a good time. And we'll figure out what we're gonna do going into next year. We'll see about the lives, if we can keep going. Let's go up here. Almost all my white's gone here, so we're kind of losing some of our... See how you end up with all these different variations of pinks? It's so pretty. I love this. It's like as you pull in undercoats. So now I'm kind of working with a little bit darker of a pink because my white's gone. I'm just going to come right back and do some on these first rocks so that that color is really everywhere. Because I want these rocks to be cohesive even though they're not going to go together, but they're going to be photographed together. So let's kind of come in here and do this guy. Some stuff down here. Got a little bit of that dark stuff over here. Kind of dab with your brush, get different textures. So pretty. All right, how are we coming along, you guys? You've got gold. Tammy's got gold. How's it coming along, Tammy? I know you're painting with me. I don't know if anybody else is. I know we, at least probably, there's 15 people in and we've had 10 consistently. So I'm hoping a couple more of you are painting too. I love painting. I love seeing them done. Or if you would paint them after, that's fine too. Okay, gold. I've got gold, glorious gold. Where did I put my gold? Here it is. Okay. So the gold, I almost want to just have like little splatters. So I have a toothbrush, very old toothbrush, and it's like kind of like this. If you've got another paintbrush that you haven't used yet that has kind of a stiffer bristles, that's going to work kind of best for that. But we're going to take the gold on here and I'm just going to do that motion. So I don't know if you can kind of see. So you could do it with a brush. I guess I could do it with this brush. This one's kind of, that one's dusty. It's dropping dust on. But you want something that you can almost hear that noise. Hold on. Like that, where the bristles can kind of. So I'm going to do that with my gold. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shake up my gold like this. And I'm just going to get the paint right out of the lid on this because I don't want that much on here. So I'm going to kind of go like this. I did get a good amount. And then we're just going to kind of go for it. I'm just going to kind of lift. And I'm just going to try to splatter these just a little bit because we're going to do another layer. None of this has to show. I just want to have some flecks of gold showing through when it's done. I will pull one of these up when we're done. See, it's not very much. I'm not trying to have solid gold going on. I want almost like this, just flicker, and then I am gonna have to go and rinse my hands. Like the harder you flick it, you can kind of get these. Oop, got a little bit on my painting. Oopsies. All right. They all have a little bit on it. That one doesn't seem to have. I want like a good. All right. All right. I will lift one of these up, but I have to go take care of that first. So give me one moment. All right. All right. You use the gold like petals. Yes, you could do petals too in here. You could add in lots of different ways. This is very up to interpretation, but I just wanted these little flecks of gold that are going to peekaboo through when it's done. But yes, you could definitely do that. You could use a dyeing. I mean, seriously, for those of you guys that are here, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate it. Hi, Karen. Thank you for letting me know. And thank you, Tammy, for dropping that in the comments. You obviously have been through this rodeo before. I don't know what it is or how to even go about fixing it. I am pulling just a little bit of white into my green just to give some fun, different colors too. But yeah, for some reason, and I'm going to use just the tippy tip of my brush and do some very little, tiny little things in here. Just some tiny little highlights kind of on top of some of the stuff that's already here. That makes sense. Just kind of creates another layer. No, I'm just gonna play. I'm glad you guys like them. How are yours coming along? Let's see. That's kind of something I'm gonna look into maybe going into next year if I can find a different way. It's like Facebook seems to be more reliable, but I can't like actually keep up with comments and things on Facebook because for some reason the Facebook comments only stay on my screen and then they fade away or as people join and stuff. But here on YouTube, it's like they can sit there until. I mean, maybe one day we'll have a lot of people in here chit-chatting, but for now it works great. I can paint for a little bit and then glance up and catch, make sure I'm not missing stuff. So now that we've kind of gotten these going and we are working kind of closer to the top, I am going to go ahead and zoom in. And I'm probably going to pull the rock I'm working on because they're not going to be as saturated. So we're gonna kind of go like this because I am gonna need to be able to like rotate my rock. And we did find out a little while back that we were able to zoom in. Ooh, so I'm gonna find right where that goes. So we're gonna work right in this area with whatever rock we're doing at the time. Okay, and that way you can kind of see a little bit closer in on what I'm doing here. So I am literally just playing in my different shades now. I've got different shades of green here. White, this is metallic. If you didn't have metallic, you could do maybe a little bit of gold, probably pull off the same thing. And to get the darker shade over here, I just used a dark blue. If you don't have a dark blue, you could do that with a baby blue and a little bit of black. But I'm literally just gonna come in here and create these tiny little things in here. Little spaces at a time. Just gonna decide where they're gonna be. Very Bob Ross, you know, feeling. A little bit of that kind of vibe here. We're just, whatever feels right at the moment, just make it happen. Different shades. Okay? All right. Cool. All right, so we're gonna just kind of rotate this one until I'm happy with my green. And this is just definitely that practice that, I mean, I'm wisping that paint. Like I am not using much pressure at all. It's gonna really help with that control. You wanna just, when you get to right at the bottom, if you wanna give it a couple. That's why we do the first few layers a little bit all over the place, because you don't have to worry about it so much. You can really practice like brush strokes to do a lot of fun things. But the variations in the green, that's why I'm not completely blending them together. It just makes the things that come off of your paintbrush just that much more fun. You'll just get these different kind of colors as you're painting a little bit longer. That you can kind of just dab around a little bit, and then it just plays with the paint underneath sometimes, different ways. And again, the goal was to not have any solid colors when you're done. Now, if you start putting something down, it seems like it matches a lot. That means you need to come back and lighten up your green a little bit. So we're going to come in here and either grab a little bit of white, maybe even a little bit of that metallic, and we're going to come back right on top of what we just did, just to create these little pools of leaf area that will kind of pop out. A flower might sit right on top of. I think the most common thing is just trying to go too fast. We try to go too fast sometimes, or we use a lot of pressure on the brush. Obviously, like the paint wants to go on that rock, you just gotta be patient. Go down. My nose is almost level with the table right now. Okay. You want to do a couple bigger ones and kind of do that press and pull kind of technique where you let it get wide and then you lift slowly. That's kind of how I'm going to do my flowers. If you wanted to find a couple places to have a few larger, so again, you're going to start pointed, like light. You press down as you're pulling away, and then you lift up as you're pulling away, and you'll get kind of that nice leaf. Okay? And those seem a little one note color wise, so I'm going to come back with the streak of the darker. It's right on top of it. Okay. A little light on that one. All right, so we're just going to kind of bounce from rock to rock and kind of play with these leaves. Oop. oops, that's a little bit too much white. If you end up like that, just keep going over it. See how I just basically blended it right there and there on the rock? Bigger ones on here. A couple little smaller things over here. Get a bit of that metallic going. It's funny because at first I thought the rocks were going to hold too much paint, but they're actually drying faster than the canvas does. Okay, that one's looking pretty good. I think this got a little bit too white on me. I don't have a lot of white showing. There we go. I got some of that lighter green in there. Ah, yeah, well that's very, very sweet. Maybe that's where I'm, you know, you are inspired by all sorts of things over the years, right? But I can definitely see that very impressionist style. Let's see, am I in the view here? Make sure I'm in the view. We are going to come back and make these more red, these flowers. I almost want to do a couple now, but I got to get some of these more of these leaves in here. I know that matches, but I'm getting some definition. Then we're going to come back with just the littlest bit of that metallic green. And we're just going to just touch on the tips of them. Just pull it right into the leaf that we just put down. I almost want some more of this dark green. Might have to make some more of that. I think I am. Just a smidge, not a lot. Pollock, oh yeah. Yeah, do we know who Justin Pollock is? The one that used to I mean, I was splatter painting there for a moment. There we go. I'm just gonna make, so again, I'm just to make my darker green, I'm adding this dark blue. Now I do not want any actual blue, so I will make sure that I get this blended all the way into a dark green in my brush. I don't want blue in my painting. I just want a dark green, some subtle undertones. So we have the darker one in our brush. Well, that's a lot of paint. Now I am going to remove a little bit of that like this. Come back for that in a little bit. And then we're going to take the tip in the medium green. Let's do some stuff in here. Like that. See, and then we gotta come back with that little bit of highlight on there. Oop. Let's get a little bit of a film on the top of my metallic. There we go. How's the rest of this looking over here? I don't like that much, but that's okay because we just were creating space. Okay. So if we don't like something, it's like I like that there's a vine there. I just don't love how those leaves came out. So we're just going to come back and do it again. Just that easy. That's why I said basically anything you do on that first layer isn't going to be around when you're done. So you're going to come back and you're going to know the way that your brush is working better. And you're going to be able to place down a much more accurate design you like. So we're going to come back with that, maybe even a little bit of the white. Create these little highlights. Ooh, I don't like that one. I'll come back and do that one again. It's a little lighter than I thought. Let's get some more of that off of here. We're gonna oops, sorry, bonked you on that one. And we're just add some in here. Let's go back with that dark in there. That one got really away from me. There we go. Yeah, we'll put some flour on top of that. Maybe a couple leaves down here. Boom, boom. A couple of the press style ones. Press and pull. Start, press, pull. I guess that's more of the action we're doing there. So again, for those big ones, you're going to start the leaf, pull, press, pull. Pull, press, pull. Just like that. Okay, so that one's done. All right, I can't help it. I really want to do some flowers. So I've got 3 of these up to par. I think since we're hitting 3 o'clock now, I'm going to just work on these 3 and I'll come back and I promise I'll share them all, but I do want to get you through the process here. So at this point, you can kind of peek around. Is there any place else I want to add any leaves real quick? Anywhere that just looks weird or you don't love? Okay, you can always come back on these. Kind of dabble around a little bit. Okay, moving the green to the side. Let's come back and do our red. We'll start on this nice big one because I feel like you guys can see that really good. I believe I'm really well centered. All right, so I am going to take a nice clean brush here. I am going to want slight variations to my red, but I think I want to at least get the good red down first. I actually do like just having that touch, just the tiniest touch of green in there. But we're going to start, and I just want to get some, I just want to see how this lays on its own first. Again, we're playing around here. So I've just got a round style brush. This is the number 10 round. It really depends on the size of your rock, how big of a brush you want to use. But we're going to use slightly that same technique we were using for the leaves, except since I have like I'm not coming to a pointed style flower. I've got like a little bit more rounded tips going on here. Maybe I will do more. Should I do more of like poinsettia-ish? Maybe I should. So maybe we'll come to a point, but it's still wider. So same thing is going to happen. We're going to start at a point, and then we're going to press as we come to the middle, and then we're going to lift as we come to the middle. And then we're going to start at that same point and just kind of press and pull this opposite direction, okay? So again, we'll load up our brush, start at a point, we're going to press and lift, press and lift, press and lift kind of situation. I feel like this red seems really see-through. It's a good thing we've got our layer underneath. Feel free, rotate your rock, okay? Whichever way it seems like it works best for you to kind of press and pull. Now you can practice that motion. We're using just plain red paint now, but like as you start building it up, it will make more sense there. And this one was underneath, so next time I'll make sure I do that one first. All the way around here. You're definitely going to need multiple coats because I want these to be red. Like, that doesn't look red to me at all. I almost feel like I need to put a dab of the green in there. But we're just going to come around. We're just going to kind of petal it up on top of these flowers. It's probably just going to need some coats. And I do need to figure out how I'm going to do my centers. Might come in and dab those with just the metallic-y pinky color, maybe. Maybe the centers of poinsettias. Are they red or yellow? I mean, and they don't all have to be the same style of flower either. Like you can kind of do circly kind of ends down here. These can be just like little buds hiding in the corner too. Flower buds. It's like a little one-off leaf, something just peekabooing through. Also come around and we could add like some little berries and stuff afterwards if we want to. A couple areas, but it does look redder, but it still has a very pink look to me. So I think I might actually add a touch of, so we true red, or did we do true red or did we do bright red? I don't even remember. Let's try the bright red. We didn't use this one because it still has the crusty on it. And I always take off the crusties if I can. This one, it's actually stuck there a little bit, so I definitely didn't do this one. Let's see. We have the same thing. I think I might actually just add in a littlest touch of green. Just a little bit. We'll see what we get with that. Brown or black? See, black is poppies. That's what I was thinking about. Gonna get a little bit too maroony. We're gonna get a lot of red in there. I think it's gonna work. No, maybe not. Nope, that looks too got that. You get a red to be brighter red. What's going on here? Is not the paint I just used? I don't think so. They are yellow. Okay, that's funny. So on the iPad, the heart when people can heart, that's on top of the bottom comment all the time. So just I couldn't see what you said. So they are yellow. So maybe I do have yellow over here. Maybe just like a dotting tool, like a couple like little dots. I don't know. Maybe I'll use gold. Since they're yellow, I can get away with gold. Maybe we'll do some little with gold. All right. Let's work on these. Okay, so if you've got smaller flowers, you're just not going to press down all the way in between. You're just going to pull, press lightly, and pull back up. Even though my brush is still the same size, you see the difference in size of petals you can do? So down, you're going to pull, and then come up. So it's up to you. The spinning rock, I don't know, it's funny because I can do a few different angles, but some angles really get me. So just however works for you. I don't know if there's a right way, wrong way. I'm gonna dab on these a little. I really want pink showing through here. So we're going to come back almost quite a bit. And thank you for Googling that, Tammy. Appreciate it. Make sure I'm in frame. Forgot I was zoomed in so far. On these, we're just going to come up place. I don't want to overly focus on the idea poinsettia though, because then I have to make sure that there are those pokey style flowers, and I kind of still want some of them to be a little bit more. I do love poppies though. Just want these little flecks and peekaboo spots. All right, maybe there is a little bit of it underneath. I'm just spreading these out a little bit. I really don't want this to be pink. So we're gonna let this layer dry on these three. And then we'll come back. I'm trying to think of how else to get different, I mean red. I don't know. Thinking out loud. All right, those are starting to look a lot more red though. That looks much better. I think this next coat's gonna really make a real big difference. All right, last one of these three. So we'll do this, and then we're gonna get our centers in here, because if your centers get away from you a little bit, you can come in and you can do some touching up with your top layer of red when you do that. So for these, I'm not even doing the pressing on this. I'm actually just using the tip and creating that petal shape. This rock is quite a bit smaller. So I can get that shape. Rid of the pink. That's all I'm worried about right now, is getting rid of that pink. So let's go. But that pink underneath there is helping it to kind of pop a little bit. Let's go right on top of those pink spots. I still feel like the dark areas don't have a pinkish color to them. They have just kind of a shadowy. Okay. I'm feeling pretty good about that now. Okay. Starting to look really pretty. That one, I really liked how that one looks really pretty with the two sections there. All right, I'm gonna get this pink off of here because it's driving me crazy. So again, we're just gonna come right in here. I'm just gonna trace them basically. There we go. Okay. All right, I think I got all my pink off of here. Anything that's really standing out to me. Okay. All right. Oh, they look so pretty. I just turned it and I noticed them over here. Hold on. Couple spots. All right. Okay. How are we doing? Are we doing all right? All right, we're gonna get a little bit of gold out here. And I'm just gonna stick it in the palette with the greens and stuff. I don't really care, it's fine. What am I gonna use to put this down? I think I'm just gonna get a little liner brush. Maybe dotting tools, no. I think I am going to use dotting tools. So if you have dotting tools, if you don't, a toothpick works fine. I'm gonna get my dot. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dot a few dots in the area and just kind of, it's called walking dots. Like you can have like a few and then they kind of fade as you tap more and more. Like you can tap the same one. We're just gonna kind of see how we like them. I want to play around with them before we do our top layer, because if I don't like how they turned out, then I would be ruining my rock right now. So we're just going to kind of do that. And part of me wants to take, now if you have a toothpick, pointy edge, I want to take and pull. See how that works. Kind of, I'm sure they're on a little, something like that. Can you see that? Am I close enough without me lifting it? So just kind of, I don't know if the dragging is necessary. I do like the dotting though. Just kind of, and just like everything else, if you pick up a little bit of other paint, don't worry about it. If you put down too many dots you don't like, don't worry about it. You paint over it later. Okay. Yikes. Oh, I hope yours is pretty. Are you painting with us today, Karen? I mean, you saw what it looked like not that long ago. Yes, it is very hibiscus floweries. Yes. I agree with that. And these smaller ones, I don't want to have too many of the big dots. I don't think the pull is necessary, to be honest. I'm going to come back and dot on top of the ones that I kind of went through. I don't think that that's necessary for them. I think I'm going to come back and do my other. And heck, if you want, you can just kind of add some dotting around if you want to as well. I love my dots. I've always loved adding little dots to stuff. I don't know why. It's like whimsy, little whimsy here and there. And it's like, why is that there? And if you put one somewhere you don't like, just paint over it. I love that. Ooh, I love that a little bit. Okay, and I love my little, you can still see some of the little flecks. And I can really see now, like how having some of those gold leaves in there might be fun. I know you said you put some in. Okay. All right, you guys, we're getting very close on this one. I am going to come back with my red one more time. Just really, I want that really bright fire engine red, so I'm going to let that go. Let's do the last little dots on this guy. Am I in frame? Oh, darn. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Better. So with these, I'm just really kind of just like create little clusters. Okay. Okay. All right. All right, guys. I'm curious. Are we? Tammy, how are you doing? I know you're painting. I don't know how many you're trying to do at the same time, but I am going to swap out. We're going to swap this out. I'm going to actually rinse these out. I'm going to come back with my smaller one of these two because I want to have a little bit more control. Either that or I'm just gonna get a clean brush. Yeah, maybe not. I think I'm actually gonna go with that brush because it's gonna have an undertone of green in it. It's like that's the only thing about like the red is all one tone. All right, so I'm just gonna go in here. I'm gonna load up just the tip of my brush. I'm not worried about filling it all the way up. I just want at least the tip so I have something to kind of control. Got a little bit thick there. So I'm just gonna, just so I can kind of define these edges. And just a little bit more. I do like leaving that dark kind of edge underneath. Kind of wisping that in very loosely. Okay. Oh my gosh, am I out of screen now? That's okay. It's funny because the painting I have back here, I actually came back to it the next day. I had to step away from it, and then I did a top layer on a lot of my flowers the next day after I kind of stepped away for a moment and liked it. I am going to point out again, like this one, I want this to be the top flower. So I'm actually going to finish up this flower first so that the last line is your top. So if you do have things that are stacked, you want to do the under portion first so that the top layer is your last layer. You don't want to have to try to like match and land underneath the flower. So just do that lower flower first. All right. That one's going to go on top, so it's going to kind of cut across. Oh, yeah, sorry. I think I caught it. I don't know how long I was out of frame. That's how long of a delay I have, though. Wait, I still need to do this one over here. I think I'm in a good spot now. And we already have kind of this darker color on the inside here. Oh, and I just realized I just saw my daughter work by. It is unlocked, okay. I'll have to intercept and let her know that I'm live when she comes in the door. Because I did not think I would be on still, but that's okay. We're good. We're having a good time. I'm gonna finish it up. She's kicking off all the snow off her shoes. Hey, honey, I am live, okay? Did you hear me?
Can I say hi?
You can go on and say.
Oh, there's so much snow in my shoes.
Well, leave
My
them.
socks are wet. I hate it.
We had a lot of snow. She said it. Okay. Big petal over here. It's just a bit more. I kind of have this under thing here, but I think that's got to be something else. I like that shadow. I don't want to lose that shadow. So I think we're going to just add a couple free flying.
Ooh, that's really pretty.
Thank you, honey.
I like that
Oh, Tammy said hello, V.
one. Wow, so zoomed in.
Huh?
That was really zoomed in.
I know. I brought it in close while I'm doing these details.
Ooh, they end up turning out really dark. They were like really pretty well.
All right, So I'm gonna do these outer ones here, same way, just kind of laying it right on top. And if you don't love that, you can also do the kind of like little dotting style, like pat, 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 like this. And when you hit the canvas, you'll get these kind of little clusters of color. And that's okay too. You can have multiple kinds of flowers. They don't all have to be these beautiful, like petaled style. See how that, I'm gonna see if I can pull this so you can see. See how it's kind of more of like just like a little cluster. I'm gonna do that right here again. I'll show you. So all I'm doing is taking my brush and just kind of pressing and lifting up, and I'm trying to leave a little bit of that dark shadow in between so that it's not all the same. All right, so now that my house is coming alive with all these, she did go, she's already went upstairs. We can do this where we do just kind of these little dots. And if you go through that gold, that's okay. All right. We have layered. We've literally gone from our pink flowers to red flowers here. We're playing with their brushes. I know this one was a lot different than normal, but I kind of had this idea. I wanted to paint it again, and I thought, I'm a little low again. My gosh, you guys. I'm glad you like them. I hope you can kind of keep playing with them. That's the thing. If you don't like a flower, just let it dry. Like, let it dry, come back. Like, I've got some really funny looking flowers on some of these that I'm gonna, when you come back and do that top layer. Only thing here is I feel like I just don't have like a shadow color to really break that edge. I wonder if I can come in with this lightest bit of this green and just kind of define, because I want this petal to have an edge. So I'm going to lay this down and come right into it with my red. And if I hate that, I'll get rid of it. I think that's going to work. I'm going to get that down. We'll go right back with red again, because that's a little purpley, but I think we're heading in the right direction there. Just want to define the layer there kind of a little bit more. It's funny because even after having layers of paint, I feel like the rock is soaking up the paint pretty fast. I'm able to come back and do these coats pretty quickly. It's drying underneath. There we go. Just kind of lift that petal off just a smidge. Create kind of break them apart just a little bit. See, I feel like we can do that over here too. I like how that looks. So I'm going to do that here too. We're going to go right back in. I'm just going to create the just taking that green right to the outline. Just kind of dabbing it in there so that my wet red can pull through it. There we go. I'm going to fill right back up with red. Please be in the screen. I am, okay. There we go. Don't be afraid to like work in that same spot. See, I'm kind of, it's not always just gonna go flat on exactly how you're intending, but like once that color kind of settles into the tip of your brush, you can do a little bit more with it. Let's go here. And I could sit here and paint on this same rock like all day, playing back and forth. At some point in time, you just have to decide how much time you feel like investing in the rock. What are we doing with these rocks, you know? Are you going to give it away as a gift? Then keep working at it. If you're going to hide it out in the wild for somebody to find when it's good, it's good. I really do like that shadow though. Yes, yeah. Once they have some time to dry, you'll kind of really be able to tell like what you really want to fix. I'm gonna finish this top flower, and then I think I'm gonna call this live because we've got a holiday orchestra concert. V is playing in tonight. She plays the violin. So we get to go watch her perform tonight. So we've got to get ready for that. So I'm going to start saying my goodbyes. So I do want to say thank you to you guys that do join me on these lives. I hope you had a lot of rock painting fun here in 2025. Like I said, this is going to be my last live of the year, at least last planned live of the year. I'm not 100% sure what 2025 will, or 2026, get with the program, 2026 will bring, but we'll be doing something. I'm always trying to kind of keep it a little bit fresh for you guys. But it's funny because I was logging in and I thought, when's our anniversary? So February 1st will be our 8-year anniversary of our YouTube channel. So we've been plugging away for a long time here. So there's always something different we can be doing. So we'll play around with it. We'll keep you posted. The broadcast is the best way to get notified. I will continue to say that. If you're not on the broadcast on Facebook, next best thing is obviously turning on your notifications here on YouTube. But YouTube I've been utilizing for lives, but as you guys that have been here know, we've been having issues like almost every other time when I'm live. So I'm not sure if there's a way for me to make like a Facebook group setting where I could be live, where I could maybe watch the comments better. I don't know. I'm going to play around with it. Thank you. Thank you. And come back. I will post these tomorrow. I'll probably get an edit down. It's going to be wild trying to get this into, I don't know if this one's going to make it into a 3-minute tutorial. This one's probably going to be a bit longer. Maybe close to like 8 minutes or something, because there is a lot of back and forth. But, you know, we don't do a lot of acrylic tutorials, so I thought I had it all out because I've been playing and painting myself on canvases, and it's been a lot of fun playing with the paint. And I do love my paint pens, you guys know that. And this is why, I mean, we're working into almost 2 hours and I haven't even finished 3 rocks. So that's why I like the paint pens for my kindness rocks, but this one's just a little bit more special, a little bit more thought in it. So every once in a while it's fun to do something different. All right. I'm just gonna give this one a spin here. We will definitely do some touching up on this guy. My goodness, he's out of control out here. There we go. Let's see, am I not in frame? This one down here. Just very wild. Now, if you want to give these a go with like pinks and things like that, I would say that that was easier because it's hard to keep this red tone when mixing in like lights and darks. Like when you have pinks, you can add in, you know, white or cream or stuff like that, and it won't change the concept of the color. Like red to me needs to be like red, so it's pretty hard, but I think the shadow is working pretty good with that green. I mean, I was using the smallest bit though. You saw how tiny that brush was to add in that green, so just be careful with it. Okay, where are we at here with this? All right, you guys. I think I had to call it. I gotta call it. This one might be a little bit longer to share the reveal pictures in the group, just because I'm probably gonna finish painting them all. But she turned out gorgeous, didn't she? Oh my gosh. I haven't really pulled my head back. My nose has been awfully close. So, I mean, look at the difference just between these two. I'm going to put them next to each other because I feel like that's a very good, like, this is where we were at before we got to this. And this, I'm going to do like a cluster of smaller ones was the plan. And then one bigger one over here. So I will continue. I'll probably do the rest of them, I don't know, sometime tomorrow, maybe tomorrow night, possibly. I'll post the picture of the 3 red ones for you guys to share. Thank you, Tammy. I'm looking forward to seeing yours as well. And I will see you guys sometime next year. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the thumbs ups as well. And we will see ya. Hold on. I gotta carefully take you out. I can't hit the stop button. Here, we'll zoom back so we can see all of them. Let's see. All right. Bye-bye.